From the Opubco Studios, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online right now and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for 5 and 5, 5 topics, about a minute each for those 5 minutes. Barry, let's get right to it with this one. OSU is surging because?
I think it's because Marcus Smart feels the urgency and knows he has to go back to playing the way he did last year. You saw a little bit early last night, Monday night against Kansas State. He jacked up a couple of quick threes, but for the most part, he was a facilitator. He let the game come to him, and the game always does come to him. He ends up with 18 points, a load of rebounds, assists, steals, just filling the stat sheet in a variety of ways. But when Marcus fancies himself, some sort of outside shooter, then the Cowboy offense sort of stagnates. He's not been doing that. He's been a great quarterback these last few games. Cowboys are back to playing the way they did before New Year's.
Yeah, and I think that they're playing smarter basketball, and that's no pun intended. I think that you see more guys not getting into foul trouble, not having to go to the bench, which is already thin and doesn't really have much there to help. So you're seeing the big three, Marcus Smart, Markel Brown, LeBron Nash, playing good, solid basketball, and by extension, that's really where you find the strength of this team. And, I think if those guys continue to play like they are, not trying to do too much, but doing what they can do, which is a lot, I think this team's dangerous. I think if they keep going, they're a team in the NCAA tournament not a whole lot of people want to play. All right, Barry, what about this? Who will go farther in said NCAA tournament? We're talking Sooners and Cowboys. Who's going to have a farther road?
I'm going to take the Sooners. I love the way they're playing. They're going to get a much better seed. They're going to be in the 4-5 range, which means they should be a solid favorite in the first round and then a toss-up in the second round. Cowboys will be underdogs early, and if they happen to pull the upset, would have to pull another one. So I like OU's chances. Now, both teams are susceptible to matchups. Both teams are undersized. If they get the wrong matchup, they could get beat on the boards. Going to be very difficult to win in that environment. So some of it determined by matchup, but I like the Sooners' chances of posting a win or two in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sooners on this one too, even though I just said, with that core that OSU has, they could really beat anybody. I mean, we saw them beat Kansas, and some people would say, well, Kansas didn't play very well. Well, OSU had a lot to do with that. So this OSU team is very capable against a lot of different kind of teams. But the thing I like about OU is that they really have probably 6 or 7 guys really that on any night could give you your high scoring. Ryan Spangler might be your high rebounder, but they've got a lot of guys that can go out and fill the stat sheet. So while it might be a detriment on some teams to not have a go-to, this team's really made it work. They've had guys kind of go in slumps, other guys pick it up. I think in the NCAA tournament, that's important, and guard play is obviously going to be important in the NCAA tournament. I like the way OU's guards are playing right now. All right, Barry, what about this question? Big 12 Player of the Year. Who the heck is it?
It's wild. It's wide open. You could look at both guys from Kansas. With OSU's resurgent, you could look at a Marcus Smart. But I'm going to Iowa State. I'm going with Melvin Ejim. He's a rebounder. He's a scorer. He plays inside, plays out. He had the monster game earlier in the year with, 48 points. He's just an excellent all-around player. If you want to go any of a number of directions, nobody can really argue, but I'm going Melvin Ejim.
Yeah, I think he might be the guy too. And, if Marcus Smart's not suspended, I think he's got a great chance. If Joel Embiid is playing the last couple of games of the season, I think he's got a great chance. But with those two guys missing some games, I think that probably takes them out of the conversation enough to allow somebody else in. And Barry, I've seen Andrew Wiggins a couple times in person now. You've seen him as well. He just hasn't impressed me. He just hasn't been assertive and at the level that I think the Big 12 Player of the Year needs to be. Maybe he's in the conversation for Freshman of the Year, but I just don't think he's it. I think Ejim's the guy, but I still think with a couple games to play, a lot's yet to be determined in this one. All right, Barry, our fun question of the week. Give us a sign that spring is on the way. Please, everybody is so tired of all this snow and ice and cold. Is there a sign of spring?
Yes, there is, and I've got some great news. It's very, very warm. in the south of Texas. Went down to Kerrville, Texas for a funeral over the weekend. It was an 11 a.m. Funeral. We walked out of the church about 12:30 in Kerrville, Texas. It was 86 degrees. You forget what 86 degrees feels like when you've had the winter we've had. But, Kerrville, Texas, it's a nice 7-8 hour drive. But you know what? I got there quick. I got home quick. It's not that far away. Hope is coming, folks. It's coming. The warmth will be here soon. Don't despair.
I think I'm trying to do the math quick in my head with the wind chill here on Saturday and 86 there. I think the temperature difference was like 92 degrees or something like that. So we should have all gone to Kerrville.
It was stark.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'll go with this. Spring football is getting ready to start. There's already spring training baseball. Not a fan of that myself, but pitchers and catchers have reported and all that sort of fun stuff. Stuff is starting to happen that makes you think spring, summer, NBA playoffs are getting close. It's only a matter of time. Just a few more days of the wool socks, folks. All right, lastly, Barry, speaking of the NBA, Caron Butler's impact on the Thunder will be
significant. I mean, I think the guy can still play. I don't think he's a star. I don't think he's a 26-minute-a-game guy. I don't think that the opposition has to game plan around him the way they do Durant and Westbrook. But especially with Thabo Sefolosha out, I think Caron Butler steps into a role where he's going to get to play quite a bit. And he gets to show that outside shooting and also show how much defensive prowess he still has left. It's possible that he steps eventually into the Thabo role while the Thunder waits for Sefolosha to heal. So I think we're going to see quite a bit out of Caron Butler.
Yeah, I think his impact will be more than we expected. With the Sefolosha injury, I think bodies are needed right now, and he's more than just a body. He's a guy that can play. So I think, do I think he starts? Probably not, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility in the matchups if the matchups were right. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him play some meaningful minutes. I like the idea that he's some insurance for the playoffs. We've said all along that one of the big unknowns with this team was what's Jeremy Lamb going to be like come playoff time? Is he going to be able to handle the spotlight, the pressure, that sort of thing? Well, if there comes a point where he's struggling, it seems like Caron Butler's a guy you could insert in there with that second unit, maybe a little bit with the first unit, who's a little bit more of a sure shooter. I think he could be really important come the playoffs, not to mention these next few weeks. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.